Welcome to this guided series for new players for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. And in this part, we're going to be focusing exclusively on building our construction industries, which we kind of planned for this area. And this is going to be very much over the top, guys, because what I'm going to do is kind of try and create a little bit of a mega construction industry, because we've got a bit of an opportunity here in the fact that we've got a oil and a rail connection, which is all part of the logistics of supply and industry. And I also want to take the opportunity about supplying the helicopter construction offices at the same time, because if you're going to plan a major logistics center, obviously it'd be great if you could build one in the center of the map, but this is just as good. What you need to do is plan for overcapacity and also to have very strong rail connections, because moving bulk liquids and bulk resources around the map needs trains. It just doesn't work with trucks. Anyway, in preparation for doing that, I've already extended the railway out, and I've built a second rail distribution office here. Well, not built, I planned it. Also, what I've also done here is put in a liquid unloading store, which is going to have three connections. One is going to supply fuel to this area once we got the oil refinery up and running. It's going to pick up the oil from these pump jacks, which we got over here, to send the oil to the oil refinery. And then eventually what we're going to have in here is a connection with respect to supplying the bitumen to our asphalt plant. Now, the reason I've done this in advance is I need to explain a very important concept which applies to both the supply of liquid and what you call aggregates, which is coal, iron ore, all the things which will be stored in an aggregate store here. So you've got here gravel, coal, iron, bauxite, uranium, metal, scrap, everything. Now, that concept is the fact that there's a bit of a trap which you can fall into when you're using distribution offices. And what I want to show you is the example here. Now, what we got here is a an unloading bay that's got a direct connection to this aggregate quarry store. And this is something you've got to plan, that whenever you're delivering by train using rail distribution offices, is your sources and sinks must have a direct connection to the actual the storage. And that also applies. If I come to here, what you'll see is the way I've planned this is we've got the loading unloading bay here. That's got a direct connection to this for fuel to this 300-ton storage here. If I show you the pipework underneath, it'd be a bit better. And the same with this pickup point here, although this one's not quite so important, because basically I want the train to grab everything, but you want the train to come out and pick up reasonable loads so the train's not running backwards and forwards all the time. Now, if you don't do that, I'm not saying that the rail distribution office won't work, but what will happen is if we come to this rail distribution office here, click on this. If I come down to the entry for this storage here, which is here, right, train aggregate unloading. Now, if for some reason I'd put a conveyor tower between this unloading bay and the actual storage, what you will see appearing up here is a triangle, and it will say unable to set percentage or something like that. What that is doing is warning you that your rail train distribution office doesn't know what's actually inside of the storage, so it can't, like in this scenario here, it can't actually deliver 40% of the storage because it doesn't know how big the storage actually is. But you can get it to work, but what it means is that the train will go out and assume that it's got to deliver 100%, but it doesn't know what 100% of it is because it doesn't know how big the storage is. So what you can do is destabilize your rail distribution office. So if you in that scenario, it might be safer to actually use a independent train that will come up to here, pull into here and say, wait until unloaded. So if you want to get the best out of your rail distribution offices, you do need to stick with this rule. Always a direct connection between in this case, the loading unloading bay and the actual sources. Of course, with aggregates, it's slightly different in the sense that you have to have specific loading or unloading bays. So I wanted to get that out of the way because I will be talking about it as we're building up this, and I just didn't want to keep repeating. And I'm aware that some of the things I'm going to talk about is going to be very confusing for anyone who's completely new to the game. But what I suggest is just take the concept and then, if necessary, to experiment with what you actually want to do. So if you're going to build a construction industry, what you do need is a very strong source of gravel. Now, if you watch the previous video, I put down some quarries. I've lifted them up so that for two reasons. One, so I can show you the process of placing a quarry. Also, that when I was thinking about how to build the construction, I've realized that the conveyors are the wrong way around. So most of your construction industries are here. Now, there's two types of quarry. There's a small quarry, which is really only for local supply. Also, it doesn't have a conveyor connection, so that is not going to be much use when you're producing large quantities of quarried stone. So what we're going to do is put down here, and what I want to do is start with the one at the back. I think this is the better source. What we're going to do is just maneuver it around to get the best possible. I think the best percentage we're going to get is about 80%. Here, and then what we can do is put another one down here. What I'm trying to do is get the conveyors to come out the front. This one is probably, I think the best we can get here is 48% or 49%, 50%, 51%. Trouble is I'm squeezing that road. I think I can sacrifice a percentage so that I can get this road out, because I want the road to come out this way like that. And we'll just accept that road. So what we got here is a quarry. Now what I am going to do is I'm actually going to build these simply because I just want to be able to talk about what you're going to do. So I'm just going to very quickly build these quarries. Make sure we put that back on, so we don't, because the last thing you want to do building this is to have it on auto purchase. So what we got is two quarries, and we got the quality of source. Now if I come down to where it says here, what you will see is the quarry has the capacity to for 100 workers. Now we're not going to put workers in here because we're going to use 3 excavators. You can see here each worker can produce 3.5 tons of quarried stone. That's 350 tons of quarried stone, and that says maximum daily production per worker. And so what that means, and now you've got to remember, is workers actually run a 3-shift system. So what you're talking is that one of these quarries by itself that's fully manned will be able to produce nearly, what, just be roughly say 1,000 tons. But of course what you've got to do then is reduce that by the quality of source. So you could say that this quarry alone can produce 800 tons of quarried stone, and this one with 51% could probably produce 500. So that means that we got a potential here of over 1,000 tons of quarried stone per day, which is a heck of a lot. and of course that means that, but to be able to achieve that, we're going to need to have 3 excavators in here. Now the next thing I want to do is just come out a little bit here, and we'll just build that road there. And what I'm going to do is put in a fuel depot, fuel reserve. We're going to, I think this is the smallest one, 300 tons, and we're just going to put in a kind of a, just put you there, and then of course keep it tidy. We'll put an underground pipe there to that one. Now the reason I've done that is the actual quarries themselves, if I remember correctly, have got they've got the capability of storing 30 tons each, but the advantage of putting this in means that I can service both quarries from a single delivery of fuel. And of course, although this has got 300 tons, we could put in, basically we could put 30 tons in here, or 60 tons depending, which will keep this going. So because we got the 2 quarries, it's better to connect it up to a fuel tank here like that. And then of course what we can do is send a truck out to deliver the fuel Although if we wanted to be really eccentric, we could run a pipeline and make it fully automatic. But that's part of the swings and roundabouts decisions that you can make. That running a pipeline all the way to here from a store over here would be expensive to do to begin with, but cheaper in the long run, because you won't be paying, or you won't be using trucks backwards and forwards. You have a nice neat little pipeline that will be delivering everything. So right, we finally got, so we got our quarries. The next thing, and this is something you do want to consider when you're operating mines, quarries, even the pump jacks, is that where you've got a primary source production, the first thing you want to do is consider putting in an intervention store. Now, the reason you want to put in an intervention store, and what the idea is that this store will smooth out and provide a reserve for any of your downstream industries. I think if we get you in there, okay, so we may have a potential problem here. And what you saw just there is an example that the game says that it can connect, but then it says it can't connect. Mainly because it feels there's a bit of a building or something there. So I think that would be big enough. Of course, we're going to need to come out here, and we can just put you there. And that gives us our kind of our first intervention store. Now comes the fun bit where you can go down a real rabbit hole if you're really into min-maxing. Personally, I'm not that much into min-maxing, but we got a gravel processing plant where we'll turn 120 tons of quarried stone into 82 tons of gravel. Now, of course, I've mentioned that we've got potential for nearly 1,000 tons of quarry. So technically, we could have just built one of these. Now, so what we could literally talking about is putting in multiples of these, and my instinct would be to possibly put in, we could put one there, kind of thinking that we could possibly get 4 in here. Now, one of the big problems you're going to have with this is actually getting your workforce in and also getting the connections in. If I flip you around there, you get another one just in there. I think if we rotate you, I think we're going to drop you down a little bit and then flip you around again and possibly put a 4th one there. Get rid of you. Now we've got a road connection out there. We've got a potential road connection here. Now we've also got a potential problem here in the sense that if I put in, actually let's just see that. Right, we got a road down there. Could I put a bus stop in between here like that? Could we get a bus stop between the two quarries? That would be processing plant. We can hook you to there. And we can bring a road out that way. And we've got a connection there, connection there. We need to put in a connection here. We need one that's, oops, that's dry bulk. What am I doing? We need one to many. We can put you in about there. I'm going to push you up. Actually, I'm going to put you about there. Now, when you're putting these conveyor towers in, if you do something like that, you may actually obstruct the road. But I think we can get away with that. You can come to there. And then, of course, what we can do is... Haha. This is the fun of doing that. We can put you there, take you there, and you can go to there. And what that means is we can bring the workforce into this bus stop and get all the workers into here. And we can run 4 ore processing plants from this whole area here. And what they will do is just draw from this store here. Whew. Now, the next thing we need to do is come down to here. Needless to say that when you're building construction industries, you need a lot of space. Now, what I'm looking for now, we probably need a fairly meaty. I think our biggest one here is 5,000. So now we've got a road connection coming out the center there. So we've got a potential problem with these conveyors, even though we've got strong connections. But there is a way you can deal with this, and that is we could put in a road connection there. So we could go. Now there is a mod that actually allows you to go many to many with these road crossings, but obviously the vanilla games don't. I'm going to stay vanilla until I get to the point where I do need a mod. What we're going to do is just put in 2 of those, and then we'll pick up make sure we get the right one. Now what I do want is thank you, game. I want a side connection. I'm kind of thinking this doesn't really do it for me. That's a bit too small. That's 1,000 tons. Okay, we're gonna have to go with 5,000. That's gonna be a waste of time. So now what I'm looking for is connections going out. We've got 2, 3 going to the right, which is what I'm looking for. So we're going to put you about there. We're going to hook up that one to there. You can go to there to there. We can put road connection. This is going to be a little bit tight, but now what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put the road in. Whoops. Just going to put the road in first so that we can, because we need to get the conveyor connections from these 2 now, and we're going to have to use towers, which is now one thing what we got here. This is a foot one. The one thing this game never provides is a single tower network. So what I'm actually going to do now is use a mod. This is a mod called Conveyor Towers by M. Tandy. This is probably one of the most popular mods you will find in the workshop. The reason for that is that you can see here, one, it's a single connection. And more importantly, which is very useful when you're building complex layouts like this, is it comes with, let me just put this in. What it comes in with is both a footpath version and a road connection. So what it means is that you can do quite long runs. In fact, this is very useful for when you are wanting to run long conveyor lines. One thing I will say is, I don't know if the devs have actually fixed this, but if you run, say, or let me just build a quick chain just to show you. I know it's got nothing to do with, but say, for example, you've got one like this, and what used to happen is that the construction offices wouldn't build the one in the center, the tower. They would build that and that because they could get from each end. But what you had to do is let's just remove that. What you had to do is just demolish that. Is put a road version in the center like that. And what that would do is then it would actually build everything. But I've got a feeling that might be fixed, but out of habit, I still stick with the mixing the two together. But generally, it's not that much of a problem, because if you're working in a complex area like this, you've always got the building connection there. And of course, what we can do now, come here, just accept that. Just accept the conveyors. And then what we can do is just put in mudfoot. Normally I wouldn't do this, I'd build the road first, but so we've now got our quarries, we've got our ore processing plants, we've got a workforce into there, and we've got an intervention store here. So next thing I want to do is come out this way, because obviously we're going to use gravel to produce things like concrete and asphalt and prefabs. But of course, one of the things we do need to do is be able to deliver concrete. No, not concrete, gravel. So the next thing I want to do is work on the delivery system. Now, it was previously mentioned that we can. So I previously mentioned that we need a direct connection to this store. But one thing you can do is accept the fact that it's going to get messy, because we're going to put this road connection in. That means that if I put a store down here, the rail line is going to come cross over this. So one way you can get round this is by putting in a conveyor tower. This is where I was saying that this can get very, very over the top. I don't want that. Where's the... So what we're going to do is we're going to put in one of these. I think if we lift this up, if I flip it that way, we could get a road connection going out this way. One thing I don't like about these towers is that it can be a bit tricky to find out which direction the road is going in. And what I'm going to do is stretch this out a fair distance here, like that. Then what I'm going to do is find another store. We only need about well, we could go 2,000 like that. And I'm going to put, yeah, we'll go 2,000. Why not? And you see where it disappeared. It might now tell me that it can't connect, because the problem is the game can have a problem with the actual thing. So we don't need this. So what we got now is a storage for 2,000. We can put a road connection into there. Now what I'm going to do now is we're going to get a rail aggregate loading. Just make sure we get the right one. There's all sorts of different ones here. Some of them are a little bit odd. But what I'm going to do is just use the one that's been in the game for like quite some time. And we're just going to hook you up to there, high up, like that. And then again, we've got the obligatory road there. We've now got our rail track here. And of course, what we can do is I'll just plan the... Now I'm going to come out quite long like that. There's a reason for this, which will apparent later on. And then we're gonna, I want to come in which side of the track am I? Yeah, we're on the right side of the track, and we're just gonna come in there. Oops, there's a horrible little kink there. So just gonna put in here. No. F4 on. And I must have switched off F4 by mistake. Now, what you want to do is don't crowd this section here back. Well, I could probably get a crossover just in there so we can accept that. So what that does is it now gives us a connection into there. Now, the next thing I want to do is we're going to go to here. And the next thing, oh, that would probably be better in here. What we're looking for now is a truck loading terminal here. Because of course, actually, we could probably pull the truck loading terminal from here. Actually, that would keep it a bit more tidier, and then that will pull from the primary source. So we can connect that road up to, actually, my instinct is more to do that because that reduces the number of nodes on this road. So we've now got this here. Now comes the fun bit. This is going to relate to helicopter construction offices. Now, if you come into here, what you will find down here somewhere, no, it says helicopter cargo platform. What you will see if I show you here, what this will load everything that you want to fly around the map. Now, don't rely on this as a general transport supply system, but buried in here, but right at the top here, you'll see it says helicopter cargo platform ×3. What it should do is tell you that you can pick up gravel. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up one of these, and I'm going to put one in here like that. So we're going to put that there, and this gives 3 pickup points for helicopters. Now, 3 can be probably enough as enough, but it's not probably not enough. Now, what I will say is that distributing gravel from this platform here sounds good, but be aware that helicopters can only carry very small amounts of gravel as part of a construction process. So you don't want to rely on it. And one of the things you will get is, if you get a bit too carried away, is you will have a helicopter swarm hovering over this waiting in turns. But where this does come into very useful is helicopters will deliver completely across the map from this single location. But be aware, it's going to be very expensive in fuel. So you certainly don't want to import fuel to do this. But the nice thing is that, say, for example, you've got a small town that's in the middle of nowhere. It's nothing's, say it's a tourist town. It's got no major industries and connections. And you still got, and this spins down to if you've got maintenance enabled. What you can do is build a helicopter construction office next to the small town. And what that will do is detect the buildings that need maintenance. And then what it will do is send helicopters all the way over here to pick up the necessary resources. And if it needs gravel, it will come all the way out to here. So there's an advantage with using this. Another advantage of doing this is say, for example, you wanted to build an industry or something that's quite remote. Or another way to do it, say you were wanting to found a new town on, say, in this corner of the map. What you can do is use a helicopter construction office to go there and actually build your basic town. Plus, it's fun to do it, actually, anyway. So, right, we've now got our gravel supply sent in. We've got our rail there. We've got that. We've got the ability to deliver by helicopter. So the next thing I want to do is talk. We're going to move on now to the asphalt. Now, asphalt just needs gravel and bitumen and power, and probably it's probably one of the easier ones to connect up. What I want to do is I want to keep some of these connections open. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you about here. And I want you to be a little bit remote so you can use this road here. Actually, if we kind of put you, there's a reason why I'm kind of pushing this out. Now, one thing you never want to do is put it close to a road with a short road, because invariably, especially if you're building a lot, you will get lots and lots of trucks. I think if we can get this out here like that. And of course, the other thing we need to consider is workforce. Actually, I think what I will do is we're also going to consider the no, I'm going to keep the concrete plants separate, I think, for the moment. And then what we'll do is we'll put in actually, I think if I do that, put you in there. I'm going to flip you round like that. Put you there. That would give us another terminal for the possibly for the concrete plant. Just check the road. Now you can see why. So we've now got that there. And we can connect you up to there. But of course, what we need now is a supply of bitumen. And that's the reason why I've kind of pushed it out in this corner. So what we're going to do now is come here and remember what I said about the fact that you've got to, and that's the maximum length. So we're talking about putting a fuel depot about here. So what we're going to do is put a fuel depot about there. Just cancel that. Oops. Okay, just get rid of that. And if I've got this right, oh, and then it put the wrong one in. Okay, I might have messed this up actually. Sorry. I forgot this has. Nope, too long. Aha. Yeah, that was my mistake. I forgot about the fact. So we're just going to bring you in a little bit closer, like that. And then we're going to hook you to there. I don't think we're going to get to there, no. So we're going to have to put a pump in here. That's showing above the surface, so, but it does tell me that I can. And we're just going to hook that up like that. And whoops. And what that means is that I can control the amount of bitumen coming into here, and then we got to use the pump to get up into there. And of course, what we're going to need to do is build a road to here. I think we'll probably build the road to there. There. Now comes the next fun bit. So we've got a supply of gravel, we've got a supply of bitumen. Now if I come to the airport, what you will see here is a heliport. Now I don't know, can you see where the asphalt plant is turning green? And what I wonder if I could get it that way. Now what I'm doing here is attaching the heliport to the asphalt plant. Now what that means is that the helicopter construction officers can pick up directly from the asphalt plant. In a similar way I was talking about with respect to gravel, we will now be able to distribute asphalt across the map. Now this is incredibly powerful because, as I previously mentioned, that the two materials that you can't ship or store is asphalt and concrete. So the ability to deliver asphalt anywhere across the map by helicopter, true, it's expensive, you only deliver small quantities, but this will certainly cut down your logistics by a massive amount. So the next thing we're going to do is the concrete plant. Now it doesn't show on here, but if you're playing with water enabled, you've actually got to supply, not concrete plant, sorry, cement, yeah, concrete plant, yeah, what am I talking about? Yeah, it's the concrete plant, yeah. But now the concrete plant, if you've got water enabled, will require a water supply, but you don't need to connect it to purified water, simply because I think the percentage, you can actually see the water connection there. But you see, interestingly, it's got a water intake, but no waste output. The reason for that is that the concrete plant consumes the water in the process of making the concrete itself, but at the same time you will still need to have like some form of sewage pickup nearby in the form of a sewage substation. So what we're going to do is just put you in about there. Now we also see that this concrete plant has two forms of connections. It has a dry bulk connection and a factory connection. So what we're going to do here is put in you there. And what we're going to try and do is exactly the same here with the now what I'm going to, it's not going to do it. I'm going to need to push this over a little bit further because I've just realized I want to send get the cement from that side. So what we're going to have to do is make enough space for the helicopter platform. So what we're going to need to do is put the concrete plant in like that. In fact, we can probably draw directly. Actually, if we do something like, actually, if we put it there, maybe there to keep as many connections free as possible. We put you there, and then it should connect. Why is that not? I've got the right one, haven't I? Helicopter pad, yeah. This one I think can be quite temperamental because of the all the connections around it, but I think as long as it's highlighted in green, it should be okay. And what we can do now is actually, I think what we'll do is we're getting our road out here is getting a little bit extended. So I think what we'll do is we'll bring a road round like that, connect to there. We need to connect to there, and we're probably going to do that. Probably going to need to take the road out this way to get to the asphalt part. Now, of course, the next thing we need in here is a workforce. Let me just see if I can get, get a footpath through under there. So I think what we'll do is tying all the bits and pieces together can be fun. We could probably put you. Oh, we got an option there. The problem with the asphalt plant is it doesn't have a footpath connection like but we've lost that footpath connection because we can't bring that across there to the asphalt plant. So we'd have to go out through there and through there. I think I will put in the bus stop here. Yeah, I think if we put a bus stop about there in the middle. Yeah. Now I think I'm going to leave that connection at the moment because we've now got to the point where we've got the asphalt plant, we've got the concrete plant, and we've got a connection of gravel. Now what we need to do now is put in a supply of cement, which means what we're going to need is a cement silo, which is something like that. Now my instincts with the cement plant is actually to use the factory connection, but this is now cement is really over the top. I think this is the smallest one at 1,400 tons. This is 1,000 tons. Now what we got to do now is we've got a cement factory, and we've also got to put a prefab factory in. So we'll just have a look at what we got to do now. We've got the prefab factory. Now the prefab factory needs the gravel. Of course, it's got to be the wrong way around. We need a connection that will supply the what we call it, the cement to the prefab factory, and we also need there. Let me just see where we got a cement plant. Now I'll be completely upfront, guys. The cement plants in the base cement plants are completely over the top, and what you'll see here is this one. You can see very awkwardly this is actually kind of coming out this way. And what we're kind of thinking is that This is what's that there? It's a tower. And I'll be completely upfront. What I tend to do is I've got there's actually two ones I like. Is this is the compact cement plant by Nova. You can see this one's is a little bit more friendly with respect to producing cement, and it will produce 40 tons of cement. And we got this one that also produces 40 tons, and that is more than the actual base cement plant. But because they got a better layout like this one, it kind of fits more with the tons. The downside with this one is it's an old mod. If I press that, you'll see it's got no actual bulk connectors, where I think Nova's has got a bulk connector in it. My instinct is to use this actually. Apologies for the mod guys, but this is one of the reasons why you find a lot of players use mods, because there are certain circumstances where the base game one is great, but at the same time is it just doesn't quite fit with the overall model. I think if we could put that there, it's gonna press control. I'll put the conveyor in here. Whoops, the conveyor, sorry. Kind of running out of connections here, which is a bit of a cause for concern. Actually, I think oops, the game's running. So remove that. I think what I'm going to do is I want to connect the prefab factory, the cement factory, and all that in. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in there. I'm going to put a three-way connector there. That might help me. Where I put the cement factory. We use Nova's cement factory here. He's got the bulk supply connector like that. So we can put the cement factory there. We can put in the bulk supply. As I said at the beginning, building these is like a three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle. I think we're gonna have to go like that. Put it that way round. Get rid of you. Put in the connector. Storage, sorry. And we're put in you there. Actually, I'd like to have what we got in the way of storage. What I would like to do, if possible, is this is something that you can do that's a little bit sneaky. Is I want to put you in and push you back this way. And what I'm looking for is the factory connection. And remove you. And we're going to put the factory connection to there. Accept that. So what we got is the cement factory feeding in there. We can supply it to the gravel supply. And then what we're going to do then is take the prefab factory and actually we can be again just equally sneaky. I'm going to put you about there. And actually I can get you like that. That's the prefab patch panel. Just want to press that. Yeah, we got the connection out the bottom like that. And then what we got to do now is get the gravel from there to there. And apologies guys, I'm just going to use the mod. Oops. We're going to use you to flip over to there. What that means is we got the cement plant there producing the wood there. Now the cement plant also, and which I've kind of been avoiding, the cement plant also needs coal. So we got to bring in coal, which is going to come in from this direction. I think we should still have a conveyor connection. Let me just check. Yeah, we got a conveyor connection coming in from there. So we've now got the thing here. The only problem we don't have is a connector to there. Come to there. Now, of course, there's one possible issue with this in the sense that it we might want to export the cement from this silo. Personally, cement doesn't really make that much money. I think, let me just check the price. It's only 29 ruble. I mean, we could use a truck to export the surplus to the border, and we've now got this area here. Now the next thing we got to do is we got to bring in coal. So there is an argument that you could say, right, we could produce the cement somewhere else and then bring in the cement in from another location. But I'm doing this purely from a demonstration point of view. What we're going to do now is come into here. And this is where things get very, very messy, because of course the other thing we've got to do off of here, which I've forgotten about, is actually is a open store. So we're going to need an open store. Generally, I don't go over the top with the thingies. I tend to come into here, and what I do is I just kind of put something like that in. And of course we're going to need a cargo station as well. I think a 4-slot cargo station here would be quite adequate, because of course we're going to be picking up the prefabs for shipment. Now comes the next fun bit. Now this is going to be completely over the top, because what we can do is pick one of these up and we can hook you up to here. Now this is debatable. Now personally, I'm not sure I'd want to hook this up to here. I think what I'd be more inclined to do is put the prefabs into here and then set up a separate air pickup terminal, and then use a distribution office to move the stuff to an air pickup terminal. Because the thing I want to do now is we need to bring in the, again, we don't need a really big one. 2,000 tons is probably a bit over the top. And what I want to do here is connect you to here like this. Got you about there. Get rid of you and you. And then of course what we're going to do here is put in a dry bulk loading, unloading, fuel, and we're going to put in, what we're going to do is put let me just see. I want something that's a bit more compact than that, to be honest. I don't want that connected to there. I want it connected to there. That's only 2. 1. That's a double. T, flip that the opposite way. Again, I want the direct connection to the store so that we can keep control of that. Got that there. And of course what we're going to do is pick up the rail line, cut them here. And of course if we wanted to be really sneaky, we could put in we could import the coal from there, but I'm ignoring that thing. And what we're going to do is run a rail line down to here, like this, round to here, like that. Hook you into there. And of course, what we'll do is we'll put a crossover there. Now, what that will do is bring in the coal, which will then supply to that storage there, which will then go into there. And of course, what we can do now to put a bit of icing on the cake is we can put, aha, oh, you're annoying me, game. What we could do is put you there. This thing's rubbish, isn't it? It's got. Okay, we're just gonna remove you. Let's put another aggregate store in here. That might be. That's a bit better. Trouble is, it's got. I want a connection going out that way, so we can put a brick factory in. Get rid of you. Of course, the road is on the wrong side now, which could be we need to connect all this lot up. But we've got a road that comes out here. I know I put the reason I put the road out here. I mean, this is just a service road, so we got that there. So we've now got this here. What we should be able to do now is put the brick factory can run off of here. Actually, what we could probably do is we could be a bit finagle this a bit, because sometimes it pays just to kind of work with the thing, because we got the prefab factory here. So what we could do is put the brick factory alongside it. This one's only got the one export connection. This is right, sorry guys. Okay, we'll stick with the brick factory. It's just a bit annoying in the sense that we're actually, what I could do is put you there. Sometimes it's easier just to use the conveyors, to be honest. Put the brick factory there. Again, I'm just going to use the mod to connect up the wait. We connect you up to you probably need to come a little bit further forward, like that, and we'll try again. That's it. We got a little bit of height for the road there as well. In fact, I think what we could do is actually, if we move this and this, I just had another thought what we might be able to do here. If I do that, let's find the open stores. This is very much part of the overall process. Got a medium open store here. Of course, we've got the extra factory connections now. We could possibly bring that, if I angle that a little bit like that, we may get a factory. Whoops. It'd be nice to get, no, it won't do it that way. Okay, I'm just going to rebuild this, and we're going to put the brick factory back in again. As I said at the beginning, it's doing this is building a construction industry can become a almost like a kind of big jigsaw puzzle. And then what we're going to have to do is put the road in first so we can get the factory. And I think I'm aware that I'm also running out of time on this video. In fact, I'm probably over time at the moment, but I wanted to do all this in one go. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to do this here. One thing you can do is, obviously, if you're planning this over a fairly long period of time, you could put that road back in. Actually, just come here. I think there's an opportunity to get a road through here, because of course what you've got to do is dodge all the factory connections and other stuff that can be in here. Probably we got a road connection there, which is to this is the cement plant. So we got 3 industries here that need a workforce. So they've all got footpaths. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bus stop in about there, and then we'll come there, put you there, you can go to there, you've got a road connection there. Now what we got now is we got the prefab factory and the brickworks here, and what we can do now is put in this here, and by connecting this to the actual open store here, what that will do is allow helicopters to pick this up. We can bring this road round here like that. That can come to there, which can go to there, which can go to there. I think that is it, guys. Now obviously we're not build all this in one go, and sometimes you do need to modify it as we go along, but hopefully that is a little bit of an illustration of the fun you can have with laying out a construction industry. But the important thing is that with these helicopter pickup points, we can now pick up bricks and panels from here using helicopters. We can pick up concrete, asphalt using helicopters. We've also got a gravel pickup point now. And of course, the other advantage is that if this store is big enough, what we could do is bring up the boards from here and add it to this storage capacity here. Now, of course, exactly how you want to lay this out in your storage depends on we're going to export stuff and all sorts of other bits and pieces. But hopefully this is going to kind of make sense. And you can see it's a major capital investment. But I think once we got this built, because the other thing we could do is put in another open store with a distribution office. So say, for example, we could put in a cargo capability. It all depends on what you want to do. I've obviously focused very much on helicopter connectors. We could extend this round to the point, because we do need to put a road connection into here and other road connections there. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. As I say, hopefully this is an overview of what you can actually accomplish with a construction industry. I say this is very over the top, guys. This is not something in fact, this is probably the biggest combined construction industry I've ever built in this game. But hopefully it illustrates the point of what you can do. Obviously, you normally would build this to suit your own needs, whether you're supplying local or the entire map, because this one's designed to be set up to. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.